Hi everyone, today we are on WGG Podcast with Amit Puri, CEO of BCD Global, one of the most promising developers on the UAE market, new developer, but one of the most promising.
The beginning of 2024. So that's where I got the CEO role, where it was a new development, it was more challenging, but it's just that mindset change was very important.
But this is the most important and final goal for the business.
And he said, we'll change the city. We are a zero debt company in India.
That you bring the real legacy here.
For 74 years, to sustain a company is not easy. If we have executed and delivered over 155 million square feet till now.
You're not a seller for them, you're a partner for them. So Amit Puri, CEO of BCD Global, one of the most promising developers on the UAE market, new developer, but one of the most promising. Hi, Amit.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much for inviting.
For me, it's interesting to have a nice conversation with you, like CEO of new developer on the market. But let's start with just briefly introduction yourself. Can you tell a few words? Where did you start here?
Yeah,
how you are here now?
It's been a good run, is all I can say. You know, I came to Dubai in 2014, so this has been my 12th year now, and I've seen it change and evolve quite a bit. It's been a good run again because I worked for consultants, I worked for developers. Earlier, I worked for investors as well, institutional funds. So I've kind of seen the life cycle of real estate. And as an architect today, I can relate it well. And looks like the perfect market to be in right now.
Yeah. But 12 years in Dubai's market, you've seen enough. You've seen too much. Maybe you can tell some interesting stories from like the start of your career here, maybe. Yeah.
So I was somehow called by one of my professional mentors who I had worked with in India, Phil MacArthur, and he's a very fine gentleman, about 2 decades more experienced than me. And I'd worked with him in India, and then he came here and he set up his shop in Dubai in 2012, and asked me to join him in 2014 because we had some very large projects here. So that was MacArthur Consulting, Canadian-based firm with a gentleman who's very well respected in retail. So I came in the retail sector.
Okay.
But also got good experience on mixed-use asset classes, including residential. And then from MacArthur, I kind of moved. I saw a lot of malls in the whole region. Went to Qatar, went to Oman, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia. So that's where most of the malls were happening. So we did mostly retail and mixed-use assets there. We were the exclusive consultants for these developers. But from then on, I got a good break in the Mac, who'd been kind of chasing me for a few years. But it was good because they were starting to get serious about retail and about renting, long-term business. I was always looking at long-term renting business, which you could then monetize and you could, make it much bigger.
So the Mac developed some streamline with renting business
so
as well.
their renting business wasn't known at all, and even now I think it's about 1% of the total turnover.
Yeah.
But it's a very necessary evil. It's a necessary, essential kind of business because if the markets go for a toss, you need to have perpetual ready income. So rental income becomes kind of your fuel.
Yeah.
Because sale is not happening. So how do you pay your guys, and your money is already in churn and circulating.
Yeah.
So I think I made kind of my presence felt there. We were in the Mac, we were famous, and we became kind of notorious to be people who were doing their own thing. Small team of 30 people out of the 3,000 people, but I was in that 1%. And it was great to build a team and to work with them and get operating margins, profitability every year in a business that was not performing well.
And by the way, I think that renting business is a point where you can check the quality of your product because you deliver and you feel the people that actually rent your apartments, you feel their feedback. Yeah.
Because they tell you, and they are the ones who are the real customers at the end of the day, because they're renting it out and they're living in it. So they're not investors, they're not speculators.
Yeah.
So you deal with them day-to-day basis, whatever issues they have. And finally, if you're able to make them happy, in that case, they become your buyers and they buy with you and they say, we want to live here.
Yeah.
So it's a nice kind of ecosystem that we create while renting. and not just residential, but retail, commercial, all the entire renting portfolio. I was the P&L head, and I think that was a great kind of 3-year stint with the Mac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So from there, I think I just got a chance, an opportunity to move with a new developer as their CEO, which is B&W Developments.
Oh, BMW.
Yeah, so that was in the beginning of 2024. So that's where I got the CEO role, where it was a new development. It was more challenging, but I felt that I could do justice to it, and it was kind of converting a brokerage firm into a development firm. So that's what we did there. So we set up the whole systems, and we ensured that we built a good team again. It's all about processes, systems, team, and doing some new joint ventures and increasing or growing the business, which is what we did there for a year and a half. And then finally now here I am at BCD Global and at your beautiful studio.
Oh yeah, that's nice. We'll talk about this later. About like you're now at the stage of startup with BCD, but I don't know, maybe some 1, 2, 3 challenges with B&V company. So maybe.
So I think with BCD, B&W, I would go
B&W,
to in the past. I don't like to talk much about past, but I think it was a good experience. The owners are really nice people, and very aggressive and very very risk taking. So it was a good good stint. Our contractual stint, which was great, but it was for a specific task which I made them deliver. And I think it was important that the business, because it's always difficult to start something up, because that's where the most hard work goes in. Your 16, 17 hours of work and your toil, it all goes in there, which gets forgotten very quickly. But if you have to set up the CRMs, and you have to set up the systems in a place where you have a kind of brokerage mindset. Dubai was on fire, still is on fire, but it's just that mindset change was very important. So I think that's what we did there, and it's great. It's doing great today. Very happy for the owners, and they will inshallah deliver a great product. They have a lovely kind of valuation already on the books. But yeah, the first few projects were very important, which is what I was a part of, and I think. We did well, so I'm happy that I had that stint with Ankur and Vivek.
So I guess you like a startup position, like when you come and just develop land from the very start. Yeah,
absolutely, because I think it's just like giving birth to a baby.
Yeah.
So as a man, I cannot, but I love to experience that, because you acquire land or you do a JV, and then from there on start doing designs. You do your construction and ensure that the building is delivered, a proper, perfect asset is delivered to the end user who goes and lives there.
Yeah.
Now that's when you deliver the baby, and that's when you need to then see the baby grow or increase that valuation by maintaining it well. So I'm very excited about this. I believe I have another few years, maybe 5 to 10 years of work left in me, and I think that it's important that you get more satisfaction in the work now, more than the money. It's about satisfaction in what you're building and for whom you're building. If it's a good quality product and people are happy, they give you blessings, otherwise they curse you. So I think it's very important to know who your customer is.
Finally, it's the most important thing in every business, where you go to delivering the product that actually is needed by the audience, and they say you thank you very much for this product. That's very difficult to deliver, but this is the most important and final goal for the business. But let's move to the very start, and now you take the role of CEO of BCD Global. Tell us more about this developer, why you choose, where you are now, and what are the challenges.
This was great. I think it came out last year, where the opportunity came by, and I felt that it's a new developer. It's a startup here, but it has a huge legacy back home in India. We are a 74 years old firm.
Wow!
So we will celebrate the Diamond Jubilee next year, with big pomp and show, inshallah, with the delivery of an asset. That's our goal here. So we are working the other way around, that we want to deliver and then make some noise, rather than going all over the city painting it gold and black and red. We want to ensure that we are focusing on the product, focusing on the design, and on the end user, what kind of facilities will they get? Is it, is it affordable, but giving them the luxury that they need? So we are focusing on small things which go a long way for us to build our own lifelong ambassadors.
Okay.
So I loved that idea when the chairman, Mr. Angad Bedi, he's a fourth generation leader, and when he came across and when we spoke about this, I still remember, we were sitting at the residence lounge in the Burj Khalifa where he stays, and so he asked me and he said, Amit, I just don't want you to join me for 2-3 years, finish a project, and then just move on. If you're serious about this, if you really want to make a change in the city or build a legacy, he said, that's the legacy we are carrying here. So let's take responsibility. Give me your 50 to 60. He said, I'll give you my 40 to 50.
Yeah.
And he said, we'll change the city. So it was a huge kind of a statement, and I felt that now finally I have some long-term firm where the owner himself is so mature at the age of 40, 41. He's fourth generation. He's seen a lot of ups and downs. We are a zero debt company in India, and we have built over 155 million square feet.
That's very nice for developer.
It is crazy. I'm telling you, I've worked for many developers,
Yeah.
and to just work on your own money, it's not easy.
Yeah.
Which is why I think I'm quite excited about this role as well now, because we are building it up, and every small step we take, we feel that okay, there's something accomplished. So it's small steps, baby steps, but a lot of satisfaction.
Yeah.
Coming from a business center office to your own small office, then moving to the large office, doing 1 or 2 projects, then moving on to 10 projects, growing very organically and growing with the right mindset is very important, rather than just growing all across with money and, just kind of blasting yourself out there.
Yeah, I hear a lot of ambitions from your words. So you're not just a small developer that started its business here in UAE. You bring legacy, 74 years. It's maybe you can tell a few words about that mother company, like that developer, what you did in India. Because we know that this country is a very popular place for Indian people as well, and
Right.
we have a lot of bright people from India here. Maybe it would be interesting for them to hear from you a few words that you bring the real legacy here.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to learn from in this market for the Indian developers as well. But as an Indian user, obviously Indians are the maximum in population here. They're the maximum population all over the world. But yeah, right here they I think make up about 40% of the population, and which is a huge number. And they have done themselves proud. So I'm very happy that I'm here and representing India in a way. But representing an Indian developer.
Sorry to interrupt, and 40% and around the world, 90% of the most ambitious CEOs in the world are Indian guys.
Well,
Really.
yeah, so that's it. So it's good. We are aggressive, and I think we are. We have our own way of working, but we also work collaboratively. I don't think there's any way of working in a dictatorial manner in today's environment, because everyone is exposed to every kind of thing across the world, which means that today we have to know that the consumer is very, very well knowledgeable. He's got, he's well equipped to get any information he or she needs.
Yeah.
So you cannot BS, anyone, which is why it's important that you say what you mean, or you mean what you say. Either ways, you got to know that today, if I'm promising something to my end user or customer, that's what BCD has done all throughout. For 74 years, to sustain a company is not easy, and which is why I give them huge kind of respect and weightage that they have been able to survive and thrive, and now taken the bold step of coming here and setting up base here. This is the regional headquarter for us now. Dubai is a regional headquarter because Dubai is Dubai, and it's much more cleaner in terms of how you can do business. You can easily set up businesses very quickly. You can get quick approvals. You can build assets very quickly because the infrastructure government's doing their great job about it already. So you can be a small contributor in the whole space. Whereas we have done infrastructure development, we did the Supreme Court of India in 1955.
Yeah, that was. I was asking you. Maybe you can name some bright products you did in India. Supreme Court of India.
Supreme Court of India, the Parliament House of India.
Yeah.
That's what we did, as BCD, as a contractor, as a construction company. We did the first Oberoi Hotel. It's one of the leading hotels in India. We did, most of the steel plants in India, they're done by us. So we're never sector agnostic.
And like regarding the square meter, square feet you've developed in India, I think that it's a huge numbers. Or
Yeah, so we have executed and delivered over 155 million square feet till now,
wow,
which is a number which I think
it's
very few
an
people will.
IMAR
It's an
size.
EMAR. It's kind of an EMAR number. EMAR is great as well. It's just that EMAR has been also focused more on Dubai and UAE, and we've kind of focused on India, but we've also gone to other markets. Like we've done Saudi Arabia, we've done Iraq. We went to Iraq in the 1980s. We
Wow.
did the Basra city, and we did some cities there. But it was all for Mauritius. We went to Nepal, but we did cities and we did infrastructure and we did villas and residential assets for third parties, so for other developers. But
So
somehow-
you're kind of a construction
construction firm, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we have a team back home. Over 3,000 people work for us on our payroll. So that's most of them are into construction working, projects and construction working. But then there's a corporate team as well.
Are you going to bring them here to develop your projects?
Yeah, that's a natural kind of a synergy. So wherever we're doing projects, I just need one flight filled with 250 people, 5 engineers, and I can finish one project.
Yeah, I think that's I think that's very big advantage here because new developers enter this market and they don't have construction companies. They need to make tenders. They need to find someone. Of course, they need to go with better construction companies to have a good reputation. If you have yours, and we have some experience here, we have some cases here in the market with the companies that they have their own production materials, they have their own construction, and they all win. We see this big advantage. So
Yeah, I
it's
think
very nice.
it'll be very, very helpful because the back end is secure. And therefore, we know that, come what may, the construction will be of top quality and will finish on time.
Yeah.
I think that's very important. And we've come with that mindset.
Okay.
So if you look at, for example, a Sobha came just like us, and it's good to talk about success stories. But there have been a few challenging ones as well.
Yeah.
But there have been people who came in here with a good mindset and who had strong backing in construction. And if they put it to right use and the cash flows were managed well, and you ensured that you are future ready, I think that's when you tasted success.
Okay.
And which is what we think will happen because we have our own construction, we have our own development, we have our own interior design company, and now we're actually making a fund. So we're trying to cover the entire spectrum of services for real estate. Yeah.
That's very big advantage, and that provides a very promising future for you. So, but let's move for the start. You have a big legacy, but here you're starting with a small team, small office. Actually, I visited your office. That's really a startup atmosphere. I feel it, and I like it, where you can gather your 5 team members around the dashboard,
That's it.
draw something with the markers, and say we're moving to the future.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, tell me more about like where you are now, what challenges you have, because it's very interesting. Even you have legacy, but we know here in Dubai there are a lot of new developers, a lot of young teams. They discover new forms of how they provide some new projects. It would be interesting for them to like have a few advices from a CEO who already 12 years in the market. That would be
12
very
years
nice.
here, and I've got 26 years of experience in real estate. So I think what I've seen is that there's a huge difference between India and here in terms of, for example, acquisition of land. It's never clear in India. Here it's very clear. But having said that, the land here is mostly belongs to the government, right? Or the government-backed entities. So when the private developers have to compete in that space, they have to get a good price for the land. They have to go in early in that market, just to tap it early on. Or they have to ensure that, okay, fine, I'll do a joint venture with the government or with the local body who owns that land.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you put in a lot of your money which gets stuck in that in that land parcel, which you can use elsewhere to actually grow the business.
So freezing money is one of the most challenges here for the new
Absolutely.
developer.
And that not just happens in land, you also have a a RERA escrow account in which you have to put in 30% of your construction cost.
Yeah.
So that again is the money that's frozen. For people who don't come with heavy cash or any different kind of money, for them it's important that people who do institutional funding, for me, that every penny, that 10 million, 20 million is important, which is getting kind of stuck there, or it's getting there for a good reason. RERA is thinking that okay, there are so many developers, they're securing customers. But for a developer who has good intent and who's delivered so much in the past, I believe that there should be some kind of study by the government to say, you guys mean business, okay? And which means that you can circulate this money because you are more into construction. So I think there has to be something here which I think is a little, it still has to get more mature.
Yeah.
Because a lot of developers are coming in and you don't know how to separate the rice from the chaff.
Yeah, maybe not from the from government side, maybe from banks side, because banks they can deliver their business, they can develop their business, because there are a lot of opportunities here in the market, and I feel these opportunities like you. We should trust you as a company with 74 years legacy. Show me these companies, please. How much companies we have, and I think that you face some challenges with banks here as well.
That's so lovely, to hear it from you. Since you know about us so well and you believe in us that we will be a success story and we will deliver as we promise. Banks definitely need some kind of shaking here. Let's be honest, because the Indian banking system is far, far ahead right now.
Yeah.
Okay, and I don't know about Russia, but I'm saying the Indian banks are far ahead and they are very well protected, as well as they are very well regulated. The banks here also are, but the banks here go completely as per the process, as per the systems, and they're not looking at any kind of backgrounds. They're not doing any funding based on whatever ratings you've had or what you expect. They're not in any way, they're not thinking outside the box today, or they're not like the mortgage business is going to go for a spin right now, because there'd be so much business going into mortgages when so many people move in.
Yeah.
So therefore, if the banks can't mortgage your land, they can't mortgage your building till it's finished. That's what the system is here, unlike India. So it makes sense that at least they are flexible in terms of lending you based on the stock you're coming up with. Because I'm ready to put that stock in and say, okay, this is my collateral, and I'm saying, give me a fund against that. So I can then grow and I can put that money into my working capital or the project.
Yeah, and by the way, it can help the market grow because it will stable the prices. Because if you need to attract money, I don't know, privately, you would pay more for private investments instead of the banks. So if banks go to this direction, they will help market to maintain prices and to help final customers.
100%. That's what's happening right now, which is the main reason most developers who come in the market, they are only concerned about cash flows and funding and where is this financial outflow coming from, where is it going. But they're really not putting in that much effort into the quality of the product.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's missing, because they're mostly concerned about which private lender or private equity or who can fund them what for them to grow quickly.
That's a headache of each CEO or founder of developer here.
I know, but it's a good headache to have in a way, because I know this market's also kind of bombarded in the last decade or so. And it's now a great market because it's not speculative market anymore.
Yeah.
People are moving here with families. People are moving here for good. And, we want to encash on that to say, okay, we want to build Dubai as a retirement city today. Nobody's thinking on those terms, because you only think transition in Dubai. When you come, you say, I'll make some money for a few years, go back. But now people are coming in and they're saying, let me buy something because I'm staying here for long. I don't want to pay the rent. Rent is high, yields are high.
Yeah.
But they're saying, why should I waste my money on the rental? So they're coming and they're saying, I want to have an end user apartment, which is designed well for my needs. So I think that's the change we are seeing here today.
And I feel this your positioning of the developer on the market. So you're developing the projects to live in, yeah.
That's it.
I mean, like you don't have projects coastline, ultra high net worth investment.
Not for now. I think it's important to deliver a product.
Yeah.
It's important to show people what you're here for. Okay, and I think that's what will then cast you into specific mindsets of people and say, okay, this is what BCD is doing today, or this is the kind of product they like to deliver. that can then extrapolate and go into much bigger buildings or a township or a city. It could become anything, but then the core remains the same, which is what we are focusing on, the end user. And we are thinking, when we design as an end user, if I'm going to live there, what would I need there? So I think that's what takes most of our time, and which is why I think our product will differentiate itself much higher and bigger than anything else. We will not be seen much. I'm here, this is great, but we are only one-on-one. We are talking to people. We are saying, we mean business. Please partner with us, associate with us if you want to. If you're not, good luck to you. But we are very particular that we build for a specific audience, and that audience itself is very knowledgeable, and therefore they will themselves become our ambassadors. Those 60, 100, 200 people who we are selling to right now, those are the guys who will talk good about us, and then they will get us more and more people. That's how organic growth happens globally. Okay. And I think that's what we're trying to get here, not coming into a speculation game.
Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, maybe you can say a few words about your projects coming. You're now developer in one or two.
Yeah.
And,
so we are. So we've got the first project. We did the groundbreaking on the 25th of January. Exactly 1 month. Today is 1 month from there, and we got strong investor interest. Very strong. And great backing from people. It just got pre-committed. The whole place, people said, we want this. So there were EOIs flying everywhere, and we said, just hold on. It's just 60 units. So overall, that project somehow got committed, to people, where they said, only within friends and family. We didn't even need to go to brokers. We didn't even need to go to anyone. So it was great to see that kind of trust from people.
Okay.
We called 200 people for the groundbreaking ceremony, and you expect about 120, 60% will come in, and we had 180 turnout. Like 90% people were there who we called, which is actually insane. And for an event on a Sunday afternoon in heat in a place called Warsan. So I think, if you do the right things and your intent is good, the right people get associated with you, and that's what makes them grow with you and their wealth grow with you in the long term. But in the beginning, you must see through that intent of a developer and say, what is it that you actually stand for? Okay. We also want profits. Everyone wants profits, but I'm not working only for profits. That's the whole idea here. But I'm saying I want to do something beyond that. Today, I don't want to think of anything over 10, 15% kind of return or a margin. That's good enough for me right now. I don't look at, and I work for various developers who would look at much higher. But I want to pass on.
No less than 100,
60, 70% at least. Developers have that kind of margin. You know that.
Of course.
So I'm saying, for me, right now, the customer is more important. I'll pass on every saving to them and try and tell them, okay, my 10, 15 may become 20, 25 in due course, but I'm not greedy. I want to ensure that, and my chairman's fourth generation, he's seen life. He says, Amit, I have my house here, I have my car. Please generate money from business and put it back in business. So he's very clear. They don't want any kind of money out. So for me, it's a no-brainer that a logical thinking like this and a building of the right mindset of a team, that's what will create the difference in the long run.
Okay. Yeah. Do you consider some, areas in Dubai to develop? Do you like some areas? Maybe you don't like some? Because anyway, we're talking for our audience. Some of them are brokers. Some of them are real investors, because we're, as an agency, we have more than 35,000 companies applied to our business. And there's our CEOs of the companies. There are top management of the companies. So anyway, they would join your family of ambassadors.
Sure.
You've told like 100 to 200. You'll have 1,000, and you'll be
Absolutely, with pleasure. Like I'm 20. We're a team of 20 people today. Okay, and I think by next year we should be, if not more, at least 5 times of this. So at least 100 people. But I don't want to make it too large a team as well. But by next year, and that's my goal, by the time we celebrate our 75th, including our projects team, we ensure that there's a lean and mean team, and somewhere the deals are the ones that speak for us, not the reels. We don't want the reels there. We want the deals, and we want people to be all deal makers, and they, in their own respective sphere of work, they have to know that, okay, we are hustlers, we are ensuring that the work keeps happening on the right time and with the quality we have promised. So it's been kind of learning in the first few months here.
Yeah.
But I think if the intent, as I keep coming back to the intent, because me and my chairman, that was the best thing that we actually were in sync about, because we said the intent should be good, and intent should be pure, and then the work happens by itself. When we started, we were 12 people. Today we are 20 in 6 months. So we're growing slow and steady.
Yeah.
But I think going forward, we will do it.
Yeah,
in
of
a
course,
nice
because
way.
if you're going to launch, I don't know, at least 10 projects, you've said.
But we don't need too many. Trust me, you don't need too many people. We had 2 projects, and the second one, the market you were talking about, coming back to the same question, I don't need too many people right now on the team, because there are 2 projects, and they're kind of mostly committed to people within the family circle, and they're saying, you just build for us, and we are there, we need it. So for me, that's why I have not even gone all out to the brokers right now. But my point is, whoever's come in and whoever's associated with us has got a great kind of experience, is what I understand.
Yeah.
And the team has been out there to deliver, and we know we are very, very particular on certain markets which are high growth markets. They're not fully established right now. Waterfront properties and all of that would come in due course. For now, it's Dubai South. Barsan, we already did it. Now Dubai South should most likely get we should do the groundbreaking there in the next 6 to 8 weeks. So that's the next one we're going to launch, because we already acquired the site there fully. The title deeds with us. So I think that one will be the next one. And in Dubai South, we'll do many more JVs.
Okay.
We have a good pipeline already, but we think that's a huge market today where the business is growing and city is moving.
And I think that Dubai South is one of the most promising area now, because
So
a lot of
primarily
mega
the
projects
airport,
are expected there.
Right,
and
that's it.
Yeah.
So I think that's where our focus is going to be, and hopefully we'll do more JVs there. We'll acquire some more land parcels in due course, but we got to be focused there, because we think that's the growth market, and that's where the city is going. In the next 10 years, I think you should see the city center moving towards that side.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So you mentioned a small team of 20 people, and from the CEO perspective, which positions should you have when starting developer? Which positions you shouldn't? Maybe because for like new ones from people, that would be very interesting how to manage your team and how to make it maybe small but very effective. So that's very good idea.
Yeah, so you have to work like any other corporate, and I think that's the best part here. That the owner, Angad, he actually comes from a very fierce corporate background. Having worked for PwC, KPMG, he's himself a chartered accountant, rank holder. So he understands the processes, systems very well, which is why I think it's important that he understands why I'm hiring who I'm hiring. And he's got some excellent hires already here, which is the managing partner. He's got the chief operating officer, who's also the common lead in India, who's helping us here. So under these people who are there for so long with him, now to hire the new team isn't very difficult, because there's a good, solid, line of control established, where there are these people who know how the systems and processes are back home in India, but we need to build it here in a different environment like Dubai. So that's my role as a CEO, to ensure that there's a specific sales department. There are people from all over the world.
Yeah.
Dubai is eclectic, and it's a mix of the whole world. So we'll get people from all different nationalities, like I did for BMW. I hired 60 different nationalities. So it's going to be the same. We're going to hire more people, and we're going to make it very diverse and equal culture kind of a team, equal respect. In fact, we are in the process of, in India, we are about 42% women, 58% men. So we also believe in that, where we are at least 40-60, if not 50-50. But the idea is construction and real estate don't have too many women. They normally have more real estate and more brokerage. So for us, it's also kind of challenge to find women and inspire them to stay there, except for the sales team, to be a part of all others. So there in our HR, there are women, good women. HR is pretty solid.
But
accounts.
women's view regarding to the planning of apartments, it's very important, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. They're
When it
the
goes
end
to
users.
family, my wife decides how our
That's
apartment
it.
would
That's
look
it.
like.
So we actually we don't give it as much weightage as we should be.
Yeah.
But the women finally decides. Man would never go buy. They will buy as an investment.
Yeah.
Sometimes, but
Yeah.
if you got to go live somewhere, you'll say, I don't want fights at home. I want my
To be
wife.
honest, without a wife, I can live in a cave, and that's okay for me. I'm just go to my job that
That's
I
true,
like
that's
and
true.
coming back to cave. It's okay. Everything, the rest is for my family.
That's true. So we are trying to build that team, and I think with a good equal balance kind of thing for women and men, and it's going to be for the projects team. There'd be a sales team, HR is good. We're getting a
Marketing?
CRM, IT, marketing. We've hired a very important resource. We've hired an American resource there. She's a great find for the team. She came from Soba. We've got we've got sales headed by a local Indian guy who's born and brought up here. We're building a team under him now. We've got we're still looking for more legal and compliant people because I need that department to be extremely tight and
Yeah.
strong.
But
So
unfortunately, you shouldn't forget about that department as well.
I wouldn't.
They should exist.
I'm
They
looking for someone.
Yeah.
If this podcast gets me a few CVs, why not?
should. That's nice.
Yeah, and then also the CRM and IT and CRM, we're looking for someone. So that's going to be another one. But you need all of that because as we are setting up, 20 people is okay, but they should all have proper induction criteria programs. They should have trainings. They should know how a person should be welcomed in the team because that's the culture we'll create today. And I'm very excited about it because I think the board and the ownership is very open about things. That's great.
And from marketing perspective, what you think should be done for a new developer? Maybe developing some brand awareness, because of course it's very difficult here in Dubai. Because when you ride during Sheikh Zayed, you can see 50 developers in the outdoor
There should be
advertising.
more developers because Sheikh Zayed Road's full.
Yeah.
Now Al Khail Road's getting full.
Yeah.
It's like everywhere. It's all developers. Okay.
So, I mean, from your perspective, what are you going to do? What are you discussing with your marketing director? What should be done within, I don't know, first 1 or 2 years?
Yeah. So we are very particular about focusing on, like I told you, the deals sell, not the reels. It's very important that we have to be doing the social media that we have to do. We have to be on LinkedIn or Instagram, or we have to go through the necessary evil. But it's important that people get to see us and see us in a good light to say these guys are serious developers and contractors now, and these guys are knowledge partners. We want to grow that knowledge of people to say this is what you should be doing when you come here, or this is where you should be investing, why you should be investing, what are the pitfalls, what are the advantages. We do all of that. The marketing needs to ensure that message comes across to the right audience.
Okay, so
That's
it's some
important.
kind of a social proof that you are existing and you are a real developer to invest in.
Correct, and not there on Sheikh Zayed Road. It doesn't mean anything to me right now because I'm one amongst all those other developers there,
Yeah.
and that's great. They have money to spend. That's great. But I'm just saying, I have money to spend, but I will be very discerning in that money that I spend. I'll spend to the right audience. As of now, I'll spend it to the people who matter and who want to associate with me or who want to grow with me. That's the whole idea. So I will do the marketing which is required and necessary, but I'll perhaps spend much more on the digital marketing side. I'll perhaps spend more, in building my brand to the audiences outside who are moving in here.
Yeah.
Like we know a lot of Europeans moving in here, Americans moving in here. So we know these people are important, and therefore to do even road shows in certain markets which we think are, they're the flavor of the season. That's important rather than going everywhere in the world and.
So you consider marketing as a sales support, like an instrument how to support your sales team with a reputation plus some, I don't know, some instruments how to generate some income.
And
Okay.
also, one more thing about marketing, because it's important to get your narrative right. For a 74 years old
Yeah.
firm, marketing has to ensure that, and which we have done okay till now, because I think in the last 6 months since we started as such, we have been able to get some kind of mind space of people to say this is an old legacy firm, they're serious people, they'll do something great.
Okay.
Now, what are they going to do? People are watching, waiting and watching. That's the whole
Of course,
idea.
that's your huge advantage. You should use it in marketing communications
We
as well.
will, sure.
So, would you enter brokerage? I think that you should.
No, I would be
sometime-
enter brokerage. No, I don't think so. I think, okay, I've done brokerage and I love brokers and I can think like them or wear their hat when it's required. But I think we don't need any more brokerages. We need brokerages to support us, brokers to be happy, paid on time, brokers to be happy, paid again and again, so that the same brokers work with us, they'll be having loyalty programs, they'll be having schemes and awards, and they'll be pampered well, the guys who work with us, and this is the time to associate and say, okay, fine, we want to get associated with a brand like this who really believes in what they're going to do. But starting our own brokerage is out of the question.
No. I didn't ask your own brokerage. I asked, like, would you go to the market to,
of course.
to establish
I know,
relationships
but
with
see,
real
over
estate
95% business here happens through brokers.
Yeah.
So they are the kingpins here. And I love it because I see that they can really influence a deal very well. So, any previous companies I worked for, including the Mac or here in B&W, anywhere, there was like 90% of the business used to happen through brokers. So, and that's a rule across. So, I need to be clear on which are these brokers who are, one, active in the markets we are in, and two, understand our own psyche and understand what is our ethos. That's important for me, rather than brokers talking, doing a small talk.
Do you feel challenges in this? Because I feel that there is a huge challenge for new developers to enter brokers to show them this new company, and because they're struggling between different offers in the market, they don't know how to choose. So, do you feel challenges in this?
I think you're 100% right, spot on, because brokers, they need proper training from a developer. They need proper pampering to say, listen, you're an extended part of my sales team. Okay, that you can't do that for 1,000, 2,000, 4,000.
It's a very interesting thought.
40,000 people. You can't
You're
do that.
not a seller for them. You're a partner for them. So you would train. You would help them to sell. You would handle them.
That's it.
With this.
The first hire that I did when I joined here was a trainer, a Lebanese trainer, English, Arabic. So for me, it was important
Very
that
charismatic.
I know. Yeah,
These
you
guys, they're
gotta
very.
know.
Yeah.
So I felt that it's important that she gets our message across to all the audiences here, and therefore that was the first hire. But I'm trying to tell you that I think the training by far is the most important. For brokers as well, if they don't get the right idea of your product, how is it different to the other? They have hundreds of choices today, and there are people wooing them with all these, world, just the tours and other, nice things, just gifts and stuff, or calling them for big, concerts and shows and stuff. Now I'm saying, okay, that's very temporary. It's good to have that, but if a broker does work for you, gets paid on time, and gets paid full, with no kind of insecurity of you stealing that client away that he's brought to you, I think that's what a broker today needs.
Yeah.
Very important for the broker to feel secure with you, to say, listen, my lead is secure when it goes to them. As soon as I close or this lead closes, I'll get paid in the next 2 weeks. So that's very important for the broker, which is the kind of culture we're trying to create. Even if I have 100, 200 brokers, trust me, they'll be stronger than the 10, 12,000 brokers which are in the market.
Yeah.
But I need those top 100, 200 for which I will do the loyalty programs. I will ensure they get the best out of the whole lot.
That's our main marketing intentions now with our clients, with other developers we handle, because the most important thing is to bring developer to your actual showroom, to show him your product as well, and to shake hands, because the broker that just was in the Zoom once or saw your PDFs, he would not sell your product. He would not do that with that passion he needs. If he feels the real product, because real estate, it's a real product we step into, we feel it. So he needs to feel your showroom, he needs to feel the quality of your product. And if you have such broker, you will succeed. So increasing this number is very important for that.
I think 100% spot on again, because one is that we are very particular that, okay, if a broker is also not very proactive, if you sleep, I keep telling this to the brokers, to the guys I know and I love, that if you sleep on it, you can never sleep in it. Okay, that's very important. So don't sleep on it. Be a hustler, do your jobs, get your follow-ups in place with all these guys, and strike the iron when it's hot, and get them to our show apartment. They will know what they're going to get, which we're building in our own office. We're getting a prototype of a one bed plus maid. So we are, as we speak, that's getting built at the Conrad, and therefore we will ensure that people get the exact product that they're going to get in the next 1.5 to 2 years. That's what they get to see there. Okay. So we are building that for the brokers and for them to convince their clients. But they don't have to sleep on it. Otherwise,
totally agree. So, and what you think about the future of the UAE market? Because everybody around just buzzing about like, we expect correction, we expect fall of the market and everything like this. And that's very important thing for the developer, because you invest your energy, you invest your time, your passion, and you expect 3, 5, maybe 10 years of growing. So your intentions on that?
I think this is a great market. Everyone knows it in the world right now, and we cannot control the geopolitical situation. We all know that, okay, there's only some things that you can control in life. We are going to control that. Because if I say or stake some claims or say something which is into the future, I don't know. But I'm saying right now, for this year, I don't see the market falling off. I think it's going to do well because it's being flooded with the end users, it's been flooded with families, with people moving in. Like we had over 200,000 people moving in last year. So the kind of, movement that's happening from across the world into this market, be it places like Peru and Colombia and South American people are moving here, not just Canadians or North American or Europeans. So when you see all that, Britishers, like they're coming in thousands, right, for obvious reasons, but then they're coming in here. Now they're coming in here to live, not here because they've already come in to see the place and they have already checked out that, okay, this is nice or not. Now when Dubai calls you once, that's the best part, that you cannot forget it, you cannot leave it, and you got to come back again because it offers you everything. And the leadership here is so amazing because they make you feel that security, they make you feel that equal. Even though they're 9 to 10% locals here, they're also lovely people, and they have kind of they've gotten everyone who's come from outside, they've gotten them in their own kind of blankets and said, we'll share it together. It's so beautiful that you can survive together with people like that. And therefore, whoever comes in, a lot of my friends come in, and now it's become a story which is not speculative anymore, which is why I'm saying Dubai, I don't see it going down. Even if there's a correction, which I think there could be a slight correction early next year, because a lot of stocks coming in. But I don't see a huge correction because the regulations are all in place. The government's completely on top of it, and they ensure that anything, if there is much more supply coming in and less demand, they would actually delay it. They will extend it, and they will ensure it goes to the next year. So all that happens, in the background while we are discussing things. But having said that, you never know the geopolitical situation. What happens in various countries get on war, and all that we don't know. But beyond that, the market fundamentals are very clear, and I think this year is going to be great, 2026, and then we would enter into the next one with some kind of caution, but optimistic caution.
The growth of population is the most stabilizing and supporting factor in this area, because if people come here, anyway, the market would feel nice.
See, that's how Singapore happened, if you don't know, and we tried to follow that model. UAE tried to follow that, and now UAE is even getting into integrated gaming resorts, right, in Ras Al Khaimah. So the largest wind's opening there. That's in one of the Emirates, and then Abu Dhabi is doing its own. They've already got the F1, and now they're getting the Disney World, and Dubai is Dubai in any case. It's got its own charm and attractions. So UAE as a country today is doing so well, and they have therefore far superseded what Singapore was doing a few years ago. Because Singapore's lost that pull that Dubai today has. So let's be clear that they're still a great country and a great place to go to. But I have friends, like in 2025, I had 4 friends, my own personal friends, who moved from Singapore to here. So I'm just saying, people are seeing something something bigger and better that's happening here, which is why they're coming here. Yeah.
Amit, thank you very much. That was a very nice conversation. We expect you within 2 or 3 years here back.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
With celebrating your
the next year I should be here.
Okay.
When we celebrate the 75th Diamond Jubilee.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.